Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, Amir Khan recently came out, boxing.com, shout out to them. He recently revealed some of his intentions for 2017. So basically, if you're expecting Amir Khan to be back in the ring, he didn't really say anything about that. And I would probably rule it out because I believe Ramadan is later in the begins later in the year. But anyway, he said he wants to fight 3 times. I'll read you the exact quote from what he said on boxing.com. He said, I quote, "I want to be back in the ring around January. Big fights next year. What do you think? I'll be ready January, May, and December. 3 fights in 2017, Khan stated." So, that being said, let me say this about Amir Khan. He hasn't fought 3 times in a year since 2011, which was the year he fought Paul McCloskey. He fought Lamont Peterson. And I think he fought, I have it right here in front of me. He fought McCloskey, Peterson, and Zab Judah. So it's good that he has intentions of trying to be a lot more active because to be honest, Amir Khan is kind of like, in a way, like Andre Ward because he spent, his case is different. Andre Ward had promotional issues, and in Khan's case, he spent so much time chasing Pacquiao and Mayweather in those big fights that he lost a lot of those prime years, those real prime years. So now, obviously I'm going to watch him fight. I'm going to be very excited about him. He's 29 years old, so I believe he's still somewhat in his prime, but he still lost a lot of those prime years. So with that being said, some fights I would like to see him in. I'll start with, his first fight. I think for his first fight, he's got to fight someone who he can for sure beat, who's not too much of a risk. Because after just getting flattened by Canelo like he did, I think he needs an easy win to build up his confidence. So with that being said, I think the opponents that would work for Khan would probably be like a Robert Guerrero type. Aaron Martinez, Robert Guerrero, Aaron Martinez, those kind of guys, any one of those two would work. So if he gets one of those guys under his belt, good. Then I say he works his way up. You step it up just a little bit. Maybe go for like a Sammy Vasquez. Sammy Vasquez is a good, durable fighter, but as we saw in the Felix Diaz fight, if you're a crafty fighter with speed, you can beat a slow, plodding guy like Vasquez, but he's still a good fighter with only 1 loss, and he's definitely not to be taken lightly. So if I was Amir Khan's manager, the way I would move him would be Guerrero, Aaron Martinez, Sammy Vasquez, and then that December fight. Then that's when I make a Danny Garcia fight. Because he's still the mandatory for his belt. So just hypothetically speaking here, if Danny Garcia does have his WBC belt, going into December of 2017, I say that's when you make the fight later in the year. Because you don't want Khan to just jump up and face Garcia. Garcia is a guy that hasn't lost a pro fight yet. And you can say what you want about his whole resume at welterweight, but he still has the confidence. He's still been fighting guys. He's stayed active. So with that being said, he doesn't have those mental hurdles that Khan might have. Khan, I believe his best bet would be to get 2 wins under name opposition, such as, like I said, Guerrero, Aaron Martinez for the first fight, and you step up when you fight a Sammy Vasquez in your second fight. Then you go for the Garcia, and that's when I feel you get the best of Amir Khan. Now look, I made a video, and I'll leave in the annotation right here, about Amir Khan, saying that if he wants to really improve as a fighter, he's got to get rid of Virgil Hunter, and I'm sticking with it. I don't care if Virgil sees this video somehow, because sometimes these boxers and trainers watch the video, so you never know who's watching these videos. But he's got to get rid of Virgil Hunter, because Virgil Hunter, for number one, Virgil Hunter is no rated boxing trainer. He's worked for Andre Ward, and he's taught Ward well, but as far as like making his fighters better, like the guys he has, like Berto, Khan, Berto is still pretty much the same guy he was before Virgil Hunter. You could actually argue that he might have gotten worse under Hunter. So yeah, Berto, not too good. And then Khan, when he had that little win streak when he fought like Collazo and Devin Alexander, I feel like that was just more like the opposition and the right matchmaking more so than what Virgil Hunter did, because he's fought the same way under Virgil Hunter that he's fought under Roach. But I will say with Roach, I felt like for the most part he did a better job of utilizing his boxing skills. With Hunter, he's utilized his boxing skills pretty decently, but sometimes he gets one or two things happen. Either he's reluctant to pull the trigger, or he's throwing so many punches that his chin's being tucked in the air, is being up in the air, and he gets clipped, and it happens way too much with Khan. And I've said that guys that I like to see Khan get with in that video that I made not too long after the Canelo fight would be a guy like a John David Jackson or a Nazim Richardson, guys who are a little bit more old school, guys who are good defensive boxing teachers, particularly Nazim Richardson. I think that'd be a great one for Khan, because he's no nonsense, and all of his fighters that he's had, for the most part, are pretty sound defensive fighters. And if Khan had the defensive fighting ability, I think he could outpoint a lot of these guys in the division. If he has even decent, defensive ability, I think he outpoints Garcia. I think he'd outpoint Thurman. But that's a problem. He has a tendency to throw those blistering fast, amazing to watch combinations, but he has a habit to leave his chin up in the air, and it happens way too often. So yeah, man, Amir Khan's planning to be very active next year. I'm very excited for it. Hopefully they can match him up properly, and if Al Heyman or one of his matchmakers is watching this video, match him up the way I said, I bet you get some good results. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Who do you want to see Amir Khan fight moving forward? Just leave your comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.